What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome to your second stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and news report for Saturday, December 26th. Today is the day. Today is the day that over 13 million Americans are going to lose their unemployment benefits simply because we do not have a signed stimulus package by President Trump. Now, this week, we will see the last of the unemployments come to over 13 million Americans, to those people that have been unemployed or those self-employed individuals that have not been able to work and make an income. Since this pandemic has started, those people will lose all their unemployment benefits. Also, after this week, we will see families fall into poverty. We will see families and individuals not be able to afford food, rent, and other essentials. But here's the good news. President Trump is, this is what we know. President Trump is fighting for a $2,000 stimulus check. It's not just President Trump. It's Bernie Sanders, Josh Hawley, his AOC, and multiple others are fighting for this $2,000 stimulus check as well. That's the good news. Now, you're probably thinking, how in the world is President Trump fighting for the American people, yet he is not going to accept this $900 billion stimulus package that includes a $600 stimulus check, that includes rental assistance and 1 month of eviction moratorium extension, also includes food assistance, it includes funding for schools, for airlines, for small businesses, and funding to distribute the vaccine? How is President Trump fighting for the American people? I get this a lot because there are some times where I do back some of the decisions that President Trump makes. Very few, but sometimes I do. There are also times where I back the decisions that some Democrats make. Again, very few, but sometimes I do. Now, according to multiple reports over the last few weeks, here's what we know. Many lawmakers are worried that by passing any stimulus package at this point, it is going to cause another stimulus package or the talks of another stimulus package to stop. That means there'll be no liability protections. There'll be no state and local government funding. There will be very limited stimulus checks because we're only going to get $600 at this point. There'll be no additional unemployment benefits, and many are expecting the worst for unemployment is yet to come. Many are expecting the worst for unemployment is going to come sometime in February. In February. That means after stimulus has already been received by many people and many businesses. But they're saying that is probably going to be the worst, is in February. That's not good. So, what is one way to ensure that we see the next stimulus package will at least be voted on in the Senate? What's the best way to ensure this? Well, according to reports, it is to make Republicans lose their majority in the Senate. We already know what the House is going to do. We already know where the House stands. The House will be majority Democrat. The Senate is currently up for grabs, and we will know on January 5th who holds the majority in the Senate. Will it be Republicans or will it be Democrats? Well, this is what we know. In just 10 days will be January 5th. We will have an answer. So, based on one report earlier today, it says that President Trump has gotten advice from a few people. The most notable one is Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican. They actually just spoke the other day. They were down at Lindsey Graham was down at President Trump's golf course at Mar-a-Lago, and they spent some time down there. And the report is saying that this advice, is telling President Trump to use any leverage at this time because right now, once he signs this stimulus package, he will lose all the leverage he has. All the leverage will be gone. So, if you want something, now is the time to ask for it. That is what President Trump is doing. So, what we know is that President Trump is using the $900 billion stimulus package that includes stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, about $300 per week for 11 weeks, rental assistance, food assistance, funding for schools, vaccine distribution funding, so much more. He's using that package as leverage to get what he truly wants. Now, what does President Trump truly want? This is a big question. Well, what we know, based on what President Trump has told us through his tweets, he wants an appeal of Section 230 of the NDAA. We've known that for a while, and it's just more prevalent that he wants it now because every single every single tweet that he puts on Twitter is flagged. If it says election in it, it's flagged. If it says campaign in it, it's flagged. If it says Russia in it, it's flagged. If it says Dominion in it, it's flagged. He wants this Section 230 appealed. But Democrats and Republicans, they kind of just pushed it through. He also wants an increase in stimulus checks for the American people. But why? Why is this? Why does he want this now? Here's what we know. President Trump does plan on rerunning in 2024 for re-election for president. That's what we know, based on all reports. He has not stated publicly that he will rerun, because if he states publicly that he will rerun in 2024, that means he's admitting that he lost in 2020. He's not going to do that, at least not now. He will do that after he's out of office, according to reports. But again, he's still contesting the election. There's still a possibility he will not be able to rerun in 2024 because he will still be president. That's what we know. So, what's the best way to kind of boost your campaign? Get a little bit ahead. The best way to do that is to give the American people that will vote for you in 2024, give them a little bit of a, here you go, vote for me in 2024 gesture, a $2,000 stimulus check. That's what we're hearing. And how can he really amplify his campaigning? Well, by using Twitter, by using Facebook, by using YouTube, by using all the social media platforms. But he cannot do that if every single post that he puts, every single tweet that he tweets is going to be flagged as potentially misleading. So, I'm not here to back President Trump and what he's doing. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to be on the sides of Democrats either. I personally believe that even that by passing the $900 billion stimulus package, okay, it would help out many people. It would help a lot of people. But there will be a need for additional stimulus. So if currently many Democrats are on the fence about even signing this bill, for example, Bernie Sanders, he's on the fence about signing a stimulus package, or not really signing it, he doesn't sign it, but he's on the fence about supporting and voting yes for this stimulus package, or he was, because he was worried that this will be the last stimulus package we pass. And $600 for a stimulus check is way too low. $300 for the unemployment bonus per week is way too low, according to Bernie Sanders. So, this is what we know right now. This next stimulus package might come, it might not, but when it does come, I personally believe we will not just see a second stimulus check. There's a high likelihood of a third stimulus check, even if it's $2,000 for the second one. I still think there will be a possibility for a third one. And I say this because even after this is done, there will be a need for an additional stimulus package. There will be a need for it. Now, is because of this worry that there might not be another negotiation, that we might see Mitch McConnell just hardline and say, no, we've given you, $4 trillion already. That's enough. We're not going to be, strong-armed and negotiating anymore. That's it. We could see that. But right now, what we are hearing is that in Georgia, Democrats are currently in the lead. Democrats are currently in the lead, which means that when it comes to January 5th, in just 10 days, we could see Democrats win, which would mean Mitch McConnell would not be the Senate Majority Leader. It would now be Chuck Schumer who could put any bill on the floor that he wants to. So even though we could see, stimulus negotiations happen after January 5th, we might see more bills hit the floor for a vote, but we still need 60 votes. So it's not like a done deal. We're going to see more stimulus We're going to see another stimulus package with more stimulus. We still have to get some bipartisan agreement from the sides of Republicans and Democrats. So that's the issue right now, is many are just worried that we're 10 days away from January 5th. Why should we pass something now when Democrats are saying, yes, we need to now. We need to provide some type of eviction moratorium extension, and we need to provide some type of funding for, or at least do something for businesses. We need to provide something for the people that are unemployed. Maybe do like a 2-week or 4-week extension. Push it back to the end of January. Maybe just push everything back to January 31st. That would at least buy some time to see what happens in Georgia. But that's on the Democrats. The Democrats want that. But the Republicans, they're like, we need to get something done now, because if we don't get something done now and we do lose in Georgia and Democrats regain control of the Senate, then we might not get anything through. We might not get anything passed. So, but here's the even bigger news. Here's the bigger news out from today. Currently, multiple reports are saying that Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin doesn't even want to work with President Trump at this point after what he just did. So, reports indicate that Steve Mnuchin feels embarrassed. He feels embarrassed that President Trump threw him under the bus, had him negotiate for months, negotiate with Nancy Pelosi, try to reach an agreement on this elusive stimulus package that we've been requesting for months. Steve Mnuchin has been the lead negotiator with Mark Meadows for a little while, until Nancy Pelosi just could not deal with Mark Meadows. So then it became Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin. Those are our two negotiators. And it was kind of the understanding that Steve Mnuchin was telling President Trump everything that was going on. President Trump was telling Steve Mnuchin exactly what he wanted in this package. But now it comes out, Steve Mnuchin didn't know. Steve Mnuchin was trying to negotiate the best deal possible. He was getting information from Nancy Pelosi. He'd go and relay that to President Trump and Mitch McConnell and the Senate Republicans. And then he'd try to come back and renegotiate and get a better deal. Well, according to reports, Steve Mnuchin was kind of left out on an island all by himself, just fighting for himself. So now we are just days away from the government potentially shutting down. And at this point, we will know where President Trump stands. We will know as of Tuesday morning if President Trump signs the stimulus package and government funding bill, or does he sign a continuing resolution or stopgap bill to keep the government funded? If he doesn't, this is a telltale sign of what is to come. Not saying President Trump is just going to hammer the economy, crush the American people's dreams, but this is a telltale sign that President Trump is not backing down from appealing Section 230 of the NDAA, getting rid of the fat or the pork, which is just unnecessary spending in the government funding bill. And the third thing is providing $2,000 stimulus checks to the American people. That's what we know right now. So, what I can tell you was going to happen is actually pretty simple. The easiest way forward at this point is for Mitch McConnell to come forward and say he supports the $2,000 stimulus check. That's the easiest thing that can happen right now. This would get 100% support from Democrats, and it would most likely get at least 13, probably 15 Republicans on board to support this. That is enough to pass through the Senate. We know it's going to pass through the House. It will probably pass on Monday. So it just requires the Senate to pass this. Then President Trump can come and sign it. Many believe that right now, if a $2,000 stimulus check amendment is passed through the House and also passed through the Senate, President Trump would sign a stimulus package that was just a stimulus package. No government funding bill attached to it. And what's currently being talked about is, could we pass a stimulus package by itself and then do a 1-month continuing resolution for the government funding bill and let Joe Biden step in and he can decide what happens there? That's a possibility. And that's what's currently being talked about. Not saying it's being worked on. We haven't heard reports about that, but it's currently being talked about. It's being discussed. And we should know more about that possibly tomorrow or possibly even Monday. So, right now, there has been no indications that Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi have even spoken over the phone. We know they haven't met in person. Spoken over the phone about this. So at this time, I don't think something will get accomplished by Monday, which means if something doesn't happen, I anticipate there will be more talks for additional votes, but there will be very little negotiations as far as the packages, as far as pulling them apart. But again, this is just the talks right now. Things change every single day. Things change. We're seeing larger stimulus payments. We're seeing less stimulus payments. We're seeing the government funding bill and the stimulus package pulled apart. We're seeing them pushed back together. We're seeing the NDAA being vetoed. We haven't even seen if President Trump is going to veto this omnibus bill that includes the $900 billion stimulus package. Haven't even seen it. And according to the most recent reports, there are some reports saying that President Trump had this bill on his desk before he left to Mar-a-Lago. If that's the case, that changes everything. Go and watch the video I did late last night where I talked about that President Trump got this bill on Wednesday. He got this bill on Wednesday. So January 24th, he has 10 days to go and sign this bill. It doesn't include Sundays. I don't believe it includes Saturdays either. I need to look into that a little bit more. But that means he has until the new Congress comes into session to veto this bill. But this bill dies with the current Congress, with the 116th Congress. So because of that, it changes everything. The day President Trump receives this bill, the clock starts ticking. But we need to understand when this day is. Right now, all reports are so back and forth. Some are saying he received it the 24th. Some are saying he received it the 21st. One says it's the 22nd. When is it? We don't know. So the last thing I want you to know right now regarding the eviction moratorium extension. We know right now, until this bill, this $900 billion stimulus package is signed, there will not be a federal eviction moratorium for 1 month. But that might not matter. Because you need to understand, in order to qualify for the federal eviction moratorium, you have to have a federally backed loan. Okay? For as far as homeowners, as far as forbearance, as far as renters, you guys qualify. So you get the 1 month eviction moratorium. That's great. But here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know. Right now, states, many governors are worried, very worried that President Trump will not sign this bill. They're not going to wait. They do not want to be pretty much left holding the bag on January 1st and having people just evicted from their homes and their apartments come January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. January 4th is the first Monday. So what we know right now is we could see evictions happen January 4th. That would be crucial to the American people. So governors right now are stepping up. There are a lot of reports that multiple governors, many governors actually, not just multiple, many are doing what they can to do another state eviction moratorium. For example, I live in Washington State. Our governor, Jay Inslee, he also did this as well. I believe it's for like 4 months. It's like a 4-month eviction moratorium. It's big. So just understand, if you don't know if your state currently has this, all you got to do, go to Google, type in your state, then type in eviction moratorium. That's all you got to do. And then once you go there, click on the button on the top that says news. Click on news because this will bring the most recent news and tell you about the most recent news for the eviction moratorium for your state. So go ahead and do that. So that's what we know right now regarding the most recent stimulus updates and regarding the eviction moratoriums. If you have any questions whatsoever, please come back, ask your questions down in the comment section below. I'll try to answer them the best I can and quickly as possible. Also, consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.